We are 5 minutes behind. Okay, we're 5 minutes behind. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna show you guys what's on our agenda. For those of you who are here at Bayview Village, for those of you who are watching us on Zoom, it's packed here. So say hi, Bayview Village. Oh, it's very exciting. Very hot room. How many of you came for the pizza? Be honest, please. Please be honest. Okay, okay. So I booked all 3 meeting rooms today. So for those of you, again, I'd love for you to be in here. But if you want to be comfortable, if you have a laptop and you want to sit in one of our other 2 meeting rooms, because I want you to follow along, please feel free to avail yourself. Jennifer's here with us too. So Jennifer may want to assist some of our agents in loading up the Zoom and the other meeting rooms. Otherwise, stick around and we will watch here. So again, we're 5 minutes behind. And the reason why I wanted to be exact on time is this is a lot. So just to give you an example, last week or a week before that, we had an impromptu, couple of us wanted to get together. Marco said, I'm going to buy sushi for everybody. He never ended up buying sushi. I ended up having to expense it to the company.
Question.
No questions. Look at the timing. Look at the timing.
He wants to know how to log in.
Okay. All right. So the reason why listen up. The reason why we're going to be very strict on time today, we'll try to be within 5-10 minutes. It's not like an airline that gets delayed for an hour or a couple of hours. We're going to try to be as much as possible on time. The reason why is I budgeted like 45 minutes for this contacts uploading training. It took us an hour and a half to figure it out, right? I have the recording on video, so I'm going to share it with all of you so that you guys can figure that out. But there is a lot to cover. And the reason why I want to cover so much today is because I want you out of here today with a working knowledge of the essentials that will make an impact over the next couple of weeks heading into the holidays. Why? This is the perfect timing for you to utilize kvCORE, upload your contacts, start a few marketing. We're going to do a lot of training. Jennifer literally and I and Lisa were on a call with Remax and head office, and we're going to be organizing a lot of aggressive training in January because we want you to learn the system. This will be recorded. If you did not read the really long email, I hate writing long emails. These days I reply with one-liners, as Jessica knows, but I put specific instructions there that if you didn't read it, I'm sorry, we cannot accommodate certain things today because you had to be prepared to come in. So 10:20 to 10:30, about 10 minutes, I'm going to do a recap. So it's now 10:28, so we're bumping up by 10 minutes. I'm going to do a recap about uploading contacts. I'm going to share with you the 1 hour and a half video of what it took us to be able to do that. So if you want to watch it, but I'm also going to give you a quick shortcut so you don't have to worry about that if you don't want. I'm going to spend 25 minutes about your website. 10 minutes will be the first Q&A. So watch. I can't take questions, unfortunately, as we go along. There's a lot of people attending this on Zoom, 55 people. Here at Bayview, I think, 20 people are attending this. So I'm restricting the Q&A to specific times, Cameron. Okay. After the Q&A, I'm going to take you outside right now. I'm going to take you outside. And creating landing pages. We're going to spend 20 minutes on that. Smart campaigns are going to be 20 minutes. Then final Q&A. 12 o'clock is a pizza lunch. So I hope you gave your orders in on the online registration. If you want to stick around, I'll answer, I'll spend an hour answering your questions from noon on. Is that fair? Does that sound okay, Cameron? Is that okay with you? Okay. One of the things I mentioned in the email specifically for this reason is to benefit from today's session, you must know your remax.net login. I cannot go over that today. I'm sorry. It wasn't the email that said that you thought this session was in the afternoon. All right. If you do not have your remax.net login at this point, go to remax.net, call the toll-free line. Obviously, if you're not at this point, you're going to have to just sit back and watch. For those of you who do, log into your remax.net. And the first thing that we're going to be talking about is uploading your contacts. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to go to remax.net. Yes, this is being recorded. Yes, you will get the recording. So for those of you who asked those questions, you're good to go. I'm going to share my screen here with you. And this is hands-on. If you're joining us through Zoom, put your Zoom on your phone and then follow along on your laptop. For those of you who are here, Ahmad, thanks for bringing your laptop. I saw him come in with a notepad and I was worried a bit. I'm like, how's he going to? But that's smart. His laptop is Shirley. Okay. Yes. This is what your kvCORE looks like, right? The reason why you're seeing so much of this is because I spam message you guys the meeting reminders. Okay. 10 minutes uploading your contacts. Quick answer. Have kvCORE do it for you. So Marco here is a testament to that. He exported his CSVs from all of his other CRMs and all of his Excel files. He booked a call, which I'm going to show you shortly. He booked a call with kvCORE and he got them to upload it for him. Yes, there's going to be hiccups because, I mean, these are extremely big files, but kvCORE support will back you up. Now, here's where you pay attention. Here's where you pay attention. For those of you who have just opened kvCORE or who have not finished your launch checklist, you will see in this section here where I'm waving my mouse pad, my mouse or whatever, pointer, you will see a 6-step launch checklist. Where you've got to go on that 6-step launch checklist is add contacts. For those of you who are like me, who have done this a couple of times and you don't have your checklist there anymore, there's a couple of ways of finding that, but my easiest way of finding it is playbooks. Gather your sphere, open playbook. And I'm sorry, guys, again, for the sake of time, if you're behind on this, please watch the replay or try to catch up with a peer. Okay. Open the playbook. And then this screen will show up. This is the important screen that I want you to see. Okay, I've got 8 more minutes into this. On the left of the screen, you see, let us handle it. I 100% recommend that that's what you do. Why? You don't want to have to mess around with uploading your contacts. I did it. The reason why you guys are getting mass text messages from me is because I did it the hard way. Like I told Marco, I'm going to give it a try just to see how it is. I messed up the first time. I had to do a couple of tweaks. And literally, that's why I remember a week ago, I sent you a message at like 9 o'clock in the evening because it took me that long to finish it properly. So don't do it yourself. Let them do it for you. So 2 things to pay attention to. Number 1, this link here, click here to schedule a time. Click that. All of you avail for this. All of you make use of this. This is free. This is part of kvCORE's offerings to you. Set a time to meet with a person of their team. Now, this is not a sales call. This is not a technical support call. This call here is specifically to talk about uploading your contacts into kvCORE. What does that mean? If you are going to ask anything else about it, they're not going to take that call. If your question is specifically, I'm using follow-up boss, I'm using whatever it is, I want to upload my contacts into kvCORE, that's what this is for. Schedule a time. All of you have to do this. Schedule a time to meet with them. Even if you have 10 contacts and they're sitting on a CSV file or an Excel file or on your phone, they will tell you what you need to do to be able to prepare to be able to use the kvCORE platform. Watch these 2 videos. They will tell you the processes involved in each, especially to do it yourself. Again, I'm not recommending it, but if you're going to do it yourself, make sure you're watching the video and doing it step by step. Unfortunately, I can't provide much tech support in this case. I can share with you my own experience of how to do it. I have done it successfully after a couple of tries, but tech support is strictly kvCORE, which, by the way, is this bottom right button here. See this? Messaging button. But again, to recap, uploading contacts. Schedule the call first. Don't click on submit file. Schedule the call first. Okay. Do it yourself. I'm not going to cover in this 10 minutes because we only have 6 minutes left. I can't cover it in this time. If you want to do it yourself, watch the video. You got to follow it step by step. Read the tutorial. If you're very technical and you're familiar with CSV files, you know what the CSV files are. You know how to tweak all of these things and you know how to follow instructions. Mm-hmm. If you know how to follow instructions, you can do it that way. I obviously failed at following instructions, so I had to redo mine. Okay. I'm going to quickly do submit file on the do it, having kvCORE do it for you so that you understand at a glance. Again, when we did this impromptu lunch and learn last week, it took us an hour and a half to go through this. I'm going to send all of you a link to that video. So don't take it lightly. I'm trying to condense things into as little time as possible, but this is a lot of steps. But rest assured, some of you are rolling your eyes and saying, oh my goodness, it's going to be complicated. As Marco can attest, once your contacts are on there, and as I can attest as well, once like I put all of you guys on the system, I can communicate with you freely. So that's where the rest of what I'm going to teach today and in the subsequent weeks with automations, campaigns, lead generation, lead nurturing. If you do this right, you spend a week doing it, it's going to be worth it. Okay. If you don't do it, well, then again, you're just using this for entertainment purposes. This form is kvCORE's import request. It presumes you've met with them, you understand what a CSV file is at least, or you know where your contacts are coming from, and you're going to be uploading it here. Actually, you're going to be submitting it here, and kvCORE will do the work. kvCORE will take 3 days. How many days did it take you, Mark?
Less than 2.
Less than 2, but they say 3 days. Why? They're going to take your CSV file, they're going to clean it up, and they're going to make it in a format that is suitable for the system. Again, if you do it yourself and you screw up any of the fields, the contacts are not going to come in properly. And if you have 500 contacts, good luck. It's going to be a big mess. You have to follow these steps. In the video that I will send out, it references what each of these mean. Today, because I've only got 4 minutes remaining for this, I'm going to show you the important things. Number one, the CSV file obviously has to be a CSV file. If you don't understand what that is, schedule the call. That's the first thing you've got to do. There's specific headings. If you're using Follow-Up Boss, if you're using Boomtown, if you're using Agent Locator, if you're familiar with any of these CRMs, whenever you export your contact list, there are specific fields or headers. The headers are, for example, first name, last name, email address, tags, notes, client sins, categories, whatever. kvCORE works the same way, but they've got specific fields. I'm not going to go through it today because it is very complicated if you're going to do it yourself. But if you're having kvCORE do it for you, they will take care of all of this. So you don't have to worry about anything. This questionnaire that you see here, you've just got to answer the questions. Are the leads buyers? Are they sellers? If you want to separate your buyers and sellers and upload them separately, you can do that too. They can probably do it 100 times and they don't mind uploading
And that's
it, right?
the best way to do it.
And that's the best way to do it. The only takeaway, I'm going to get to your questions, don't worry. The only takeaway, the key takeaway from this is number one, the CSV file. If you don't know how to do it, they're going to do it for you. They will upload it. They're going to clean everything up. Okay. Number two, kvCORE is such a powerful system, and we've had this happen already to some agents that didn't realize it. If you set automations on when you upload this, like for example, one of the questionnaires will be, do you want automations to start? It will literally start bombarding your clients with automated texts and emails.
Anyway.
If you do not want that to happen, make sure you're answering these questions properly. Again, reference the video that I'm going to be sending out so that you know one by one what these questions mean. If you want them to start, let's say you have 300 cold contacts and you don't care whether they love you or they hate you, but you just want to bombard them with messages right away and they're categorized seller and buyer. The smart campaigns, which I'm going to show you towards the latter part of this presentation, the smart campaigns will start sending them texts, emails. They will start sending you tasks to do, like call this buyer, call this seller. So that's how advanced this system is, and that's how powerful the system is, right? I've got 2 minutes. I'm ahead of a bit of time now. But basically, in a nutshell, have kvCORE upload your contacts for you. The only way you attempt to do it yourself is if you have technical knowledge. Again, at my time, I don't consider myself a genius at technology. I consider Jennifer even smarter than me. I made a mess on the first try, right? So if you have no idea how to modify CSV files or any of that stuff, if you don't know what headers are, if you cannot follow instructions, don't try to do it yourself, please, because it will be a big mess, okay? Let's jump now to, I think I'm going to talk about the website. I'm going to do the questions afterwards. I'm sorry. I'm going to have a specific time for the questions. Remember your questions on the chat. I'm not ignoring you here. Please remember your questions. I've got a 10-minute Q&A, okay, starting in about 25 minutes. Next step is customizing your website, okay? I'm going to go now into customizing your website. Again, this is because of the time that we've got to do this. I want to make sure you've got enough to work with, okay? Customizing your website. We're on this screen now, right? We talked about gathering your sphere. That's all done. You know what? I think because I overheard Ozzy's question, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to spend 1 minute on this. Castle, and if this answers your question, Ozzy, great. If not, please remember your question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Castle is the anti-spam legislation. Do not pull cold contacts that did not give you permission to contact them and put them into kvCORE. If you do, you will be violating Castle. One of the fields that you're uploading is, did your client expressly say you can contact me? Or implied, people you've been doing business with for 10 years, you have an implied relationship to contact them, right? There is a field on the CSV files or on the upload form that will let you say whether this is expressed or implied consent. The reason I'm spending a bit of time on this is because if you do implied, just like Marco's situation, they will have to re-subscribe, or you have to basically you have to every 6 months, you've got to say that you're still allowed to contact that client. If it's expressed, then it's automatically expressed, but you better have a record or some sort of record of way of you have to provide. No, as long as you have it, okay? We'll get to Q&A on that later on. Let's go to websites, because I want you guys to be able to customize your website after you've updated your contacts and you've uploaded them. A couple of things that I'm going to show you with the website: how to customize your website, how to modify information, how to create service areas, how to add custom pages. And then I learned this literally just last night. I was on a support chat with them, 10 minutes. They helped me find it. How to add, how to organize your menu hierarchy properly. So for example, somebody, you're going to add 100 pages to this, your menu bar will just disappear because you have 100 pages. I'm going to show you how to create proper headings, okay? Your website by default, here at least at Bayview Village, because you're part of the Toronto offices, is your first name, last name, .remaxhallmarkrealty.ca. On your welcome email through kvCORE, you will receive instructions on how to log into kvCORE. And when you're in kvCORE, you'll see your website here. Do you see that, guys? Guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, you see that, right? Yeah. So if you're on this page, Web and IDX, you'll see your website, basically. And when you click that, you're going to see a preview of your website. Out of the box, your website is impressive. Out of the box, you already have a website that is probably better than not having a website, number one, or better than your website that you're not currently updating. My photo isn't high res. I've got to upload a high res photo. You can modify all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm going to show you today for your website, okay? You may be using Web for Realty. You might be using whatever else, right? You may not have a website. I'm going to show you the basics of editing this website to customize it and make it your own. And then I'm going to show you how to add a couple of things to it so that you can start some basic lead generation, okay? So with the website, on this menu here, you've got Website Manager, you've got Site Content, you've got a blog, you've got Embed, and you've got Widgets, okay? On this page, you've got so many different things. So it is overwhelming. Yes, I was overwhelmed when I first saw this. And I'm sure a lot of you are like, wow, how am I going to get time? I'm getting a lot of nods, especially from Vita right now. I was looking at him, he's like, when's the pizza coming? You can just take this step by step, okay? Like, do not be overwhelmed. Don't try to be overly ambitious about this. Pick one thing today that you've learned and implement it. Watch the recording later and implement everything else that I've shown you. Again, for me to be able to do this and to show you everything, I'm going to show you an overview of it over the next several weeks. I'm going to show you a lot of specific parts. kvCORE has specific training on each aspect that I'm teaching today. So this is actually 3 hours if you're taking this through kvCORE. Right? I know that's not sounding comforting for you, but I'm giving you the essential stuff you need to know. Okay. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with site content. So I'm going to click on site content. You're going to see here that Marco left me a testimonial. Actually, no, he didn't. I just made this testimonial up on his part, saying John Deere is the best, right? Testimonials, you can add your own testimonials into the system. I am not currently aware of any plugins that will feed into this. That's later on, if that was one of your questions. But for example, let's say I have a 5-star testimonial. Let's say Vita is going to give me a testimonial. I'm going to put Vita here, Vita B. John Deere is the best. Where's my pizza? Right? Add your testimonials to this page. Now, question, where does it show up? I'll show you where it shows up. Go back to your website. Click refresh. Your agent, testimonials. And as Jessica will tell you, because I want you guys to book a session with her about social media and the importance of all of the different aspects of it. And you know what, by the way, they can actually leave you a testimonial right on this page, right? You can see the testimonials there. I don't think it kicked Vita's in there yet, but I got to refresh it. But Vita's will be there, mark my words, right? It's missing. Right, so if somebody types something in here, again, I didn't try this out, but maybe we will at a later point. I presume that it's going to show up here as well, or you may be able to get an approval for it, and then they will be able to approve it, right? So, you know what? I forgot to put 5-star ratings on both of these. So be truthful. Don't make these up, though. Okay. So take your Google testimonials, and they'll be able to plug them in. I think, what do you say? Rank My Agent, you have to add these in manually. So yeah, anything you're using, you have to add them in manually. At this point, there's no bridge or automation to bring them in, right? So in the future, sure, there may be Google feed into this, Rank My Agent and all that, but you've got to do this manually at this point. So what I recommend, if you've got a lot of testimonials, 5-star testimonials and all that, put them in here, okay? And you'll be able to see it on your website once it refreshes. Service areas and SEO. I want you to pay attention especially to this one, because a lot of you who are very geographically focused, you're going to benefit from this, and I'll show you why. So back to my website, when you look at, if I go home to it, go to the home page, you're going to see that there's an area specific to, on your page, a specific area that shows your focus areas. You see that here, where is it? Very tiny, right? I'm going to show you two things that you guys can take away with. The first one is this, areas we cover, very tiny. A widget will show a much better screen. I'm going to show you how to do that later. Areas we cover is, for example, Toronto. So somebody give me a neighborhood that you do. Bayview Village, thank you. So if you type in Bayview Village, because we're all integrated into DDF, TREB, and all that sort of stuff, it will show up here as a neighborhood. I click on that. I can now add Bayview Village to it. For SEO purposes, I can create keywords. I can add page text. I can also do display text, right? Keywords, for example, might be, Bayview Village homes, Bayview Village condos. I'm going to show you where this appears, okay? Page text. Trust in Jonder to help you find your perfect Bayview Village home. I know a lot of you can write better than this. This is just gibberish I'm showing you for the sake of example. I press save there. And if this works out right, this is a live training session, so I didn't pre-rehearse this in advance. It should show up on this page. Okay, so I've refreshed it. So this was something Imad and I were going through. Like Imad does specific areas, his team does specific areas in Scarborough. You want to put specific areas on there so that you're searchable, or that it creates a local perception, then that's fine. I'm having problems updating my website today.
Well,
So kvCORE's fault, not mine, okay? It's going to take time.
It takes a few seconds. Come on.
Take some. Lazy guys. Okay, so it's going to take time. I think it has to do with cache. Okay.
The text is not mandatory there. It's just keyboard.
Yeah, the text. Yeah. So nothing is mandatory there. If you want to add something to it, maybe Jennifer can help me with this. Jennifer, maybe unmute and tell me if I'm doing something wrong here.
Sorry, the one thing that I do want to point out, because I've been checking out who's been using websites, and under the areas we cover, it's advisable to reduce the number of areas. If you're including every single area in all of Canada to try to increase your SEO, it's actually going to do the opposite. So to optimize, you want to make sure that you're digging down into the communities that you actually cover, so that you're not throwing too wide a net out. And, Google will actually reward you for doing that. And it will further help you when you're doing your landing pages and squeeze pages and advertising that will come along throughout here. There can be delays, again, due to caching and cookies. It can take up to 24 hours for any updates to load onto the back end to the actual website itself. So just have some patience. There could always be, servers are servers are servers, right? So as much as we love to be in an instant society, even technology needs to take time to get the work done properly.
Okay, good point. Thank you so much for that, Jennifer. So in some instances, I've done this, like last night I was doing it, instant updates. Okay, sometimes it may be delayed. I tried incognito just so that it would take away any cache or whatever cookies, and it's still not working out. So in a bit, I'll show you if it does update. One of the things that I do want to show you, thank goodness I did this in advance, like one of it is I did add Toronto, for example. So to Jennifer's point, don't think that you're being a genius by adding every single city in Ontario. It's going to penalize you. Pick your specific focus areas and you'll be better off that way. So Toronto, this is what Toronto would look like if you added Toronto, the city, as far as the listing is concerned. It's going to show you a nice array of available listings, most expensive, least expensive, most popular. Here's a really neat part. It shows stats as well, right? So we're still in the process of setting up VOW and all of that sort of stuff, but I presume it's going to start showing sold data. Jennifer can correct me later if it's not, but there's a lot more that will be shown on here once we actually have VOW integrated into this. But basically, look, it shows you all of the neighborhoods in Toronto. It shows you the graphs of what's happening in Toronto's real estate market, how many listings. It shows you the average price, average walk score, average days on market. And what's really neat about this is when you click on these listings, this is pretty much an IDX website. So you guys have access to all of this. I think it's probably internet issues because all of you guys are also eating into the Wi-Fi here. So maybe that's contributing part of it. But anyway, you'll be able to create these service areas and you'll be able to see all of the different listings that are in specific neighborhoods and specific cities and that sort of thing. So that covers service areas and SEO. And then when it comes to SEOs, keywords, page text, don't spend too much time on this at this point. You'll get to learn that as we go. But basically, if you want to dabble in it, just type in specific keywords that you feel somebody might be searching for. These will appear in meta tags. If you don't know what meta tags are, again, that's an entirely separate discussion. Important thing, know how to customize your service areas. Custom pages. Some of you do pre-construction condos. Some of you want to add the buyer's guide, the seller's guide to your website. Some of you want to talk about initiatives in the community that you do. I'm going to show you what it looks like finished because it may not update, but this is what I was working on yesterday. I added a new section, and I'm going to show you this, called new condos, and I made a drop down happen, right? So condos, if you do not know how to do this part, what ends up happening is every page you add just expands this menu. And I don't know how many menu items will fit eventually, but at some point you're going to run out. So what I did here is I did a category. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I categorized these pages to fit underneath this particular category. Does that make sense? So it's called a drop-down menu. So if you're doing, buyer guide, seller guide, you may want to put that in a drop-down menu called resources or guides. If you're doing new condos and you have like 20 new condos, you may want to do that under a drop-down called new condos, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, I'm going to click on these and I'll show you where it brings the pages and all that sort of thing. So here, this is a demo site for me. So the title was condo within new condos because I wanted to do a page within this heading, right? And then new condo projects, yet another page within that, right? So you may want to watch the recording for this specific part of it, because if you miss one part of this, watch the recording, play it back and forth, you'll be able to get it. It's quite easy once you do get it. Before I actually add a new page, because your temptation will probably be, I want to add a new page. Before you do that, go back to Website Manager. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. Click Edit Settings. Now, again, you're going to be bombarded with so many settings on this page that it's going to overwhelm you. You can change your graphics, your background images, your theme, and all of that sort of stuff. But what I want to go to is custom navigation. Do you guys see that? Do you guys and gals see that? Custom navigation. Click on custom navigation. You can change what the menu says. So, for example, search. Right? If you're like, you know what, search is a blah term, whatever, I want to change it to find a home. Right? Something like that, find a condo. You can click that, save, and again, I'm not going to refresh it because we may be having updating issues, but it is there, it's saved. So when I check my website later, it'll probably work. Sell label, instead of sell, I might say sell your home, right? Or sellers, right? Finance. You might want to change it to get a mortgage or something like that. You get what I'm trying to say here, right? So if you scroll down, you're going to be able to see that you can create categories for navigation, right? So here, because I already created the page, I can choose one of them to become a navigation item. This is an important part I don't want you to miss, because if you miss this, you won't get how to do it, right? And I wanted to bring this to your attention first, because your drop down, like I'm looking at Aaron's drop down. If you go down, go down, go down, go down. And if you click on, go down, yeah. Select custom pages, you have nothing, right? So Aaron doesn't have any custom pages. So he won't be able to find something to create as a navigation item yet, right? So I want to show you this because you need to know where to find it. My mistake last night when I was trying to figure this out is, where do I now turn this page into a navigation item? Basically a header. So watch. Here's your header. Or header page. I'm gonna call it a header page or main page or whatever, right? You guys see that on the camera? Yeah. I want to create page 1, page 2, page 3 underneath it. And I promise this will be the most complicated thing you learn today, okay? And you'll see for good reason why you need to know that. If I start creating these pages 1, 2, and 3, and I don't define a header page, those pages will just appear on the menu. It's going to throw the menu out of whack. It's going to just go crazy. It's going to expand it, right? You may want to do this again because you have condo, project 1, project 2, project 3, helpful guides, guide 1, guide 2, guide 3. Download my app. Here's my mortgage app. Here's my Hallmark app. Here's whatever app, right? So going back now, if you look on screen, we're going to go back to Web and IDX, the easiest way to get there. Now we're going to go to site content, Web and IDX, site content, custom pages. And because I have pages, what I'm going to do is this, okay? I'm going to delete all these pages. You know what? It's going to mess things up in the example if it doesn't refresh, but I'm going to delete all these pages. So now I'm starting the same way as you are. I'm going to put new page here, okay? The title, and again, sorry, forgive me guys if there's any hiccups. This is a live session. I'm learning this just slightly. I only know a bit more than you at this point. If something happens, it's Jennifer's fault. No, I'm kidding. It's my fault. New condos and developments, okay? This is my header page or main page, right? New condos and development. Why? When somebody clicks on this page, I want them to see all of the condo developments, but I also want this to be the top of the menu item so that every project I put is nestled underneath this. Select category. I have a new category already called new condos, but for the sake of the example, you guys don't have that category yet. I'm going to put new condos and developments as a category as well. Sorry, under new, create new category. Okay. So again, you won't have any existing categories. Put it under create new category. See this? It says create new category. Put that as the header or the title of that section. Content. Yeah, new category. Good. Content. This is just a test, but if it works, this will be the main page of new condos and developments. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this part of it, but just so you know, you can add photos, you can add videos, you can add links to this HTML rich editor. Photos, you see the photo icon here? You can do that and add a photo, like an image. Insert source code. Don't touch it unless you know HTML, okay? If you do know how to do HTML, then you can do more advanced stuff, such as inserting your YouTube video. You can embed your YouTube video into this page. I'm going to save that for advanced training later on. I just want you to learn the basics today. I'm going to show you how to upload an image because, you know, that's always fun. Okay, I'm going to go to unsplash.com. It's one of the nice free websites to get stock photos. I'm going to type a Toronto condo here. Okay. And here's a nice photo of Toronto condos, right? You guys agree? I'm going to download it. Unsplash.com. Okay, so I've downloaded it. I'm going to show you how to upload a photo within your kvCORE. So for those of you who didn't see that, go to your website or go to a folder on your computer where you have photos saved. As long as you have a photo to upload, you guys know how to do that by now, at least, right? You have to upload photos, so we're good. Yeah, I was worried there a bit. But at the very header of this, I'm going to press enter, enter. I'm going to put the photo at the very top of this page so it looks very nice. And again, if this doesn't show up, I apologize because of the uploading of kvCORE and updating websites. That's out of my control. Insert edit image. I can either this, I'm presuming, and Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm presuming you could put a URL there if you wanted to, right? But we're not gonna do a URL, we're gonna do, yeah, you don't know, upload. Okay, so we're gonna do upload. Don't do general, do upload. Browse for an image. Downloads, because it was in my downloads file. Click on the image. Image will show up. Whoops. This is where we started running into these issues. Maximum 2 megabytes. Okay, so good thing this happened. Because it has a 2 megabyte upload limit, one of my suggestions, remember, we are using the free kvCORE after all. Even with the paid one, I don't think you're gonna be able to do more than 2 megabytes because of disk space. If your image is high resolution, this is where you start pulling up things like your Google Drive or your Dropbox or box.com. And you upload it into Google Drive. You make sure it's a shareable image. You copy the URL into this here, okay? Into the source, into the first option, correct, right? If you're gonna upload something, it has to be 2 megabytes. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that here, but
I did one.
you did one?
This, all the
Okay.
main page is not a subcategory.
Still the main page, right? So watch, I'm going to resize this. So I just opened the image at this point. I'm going to adjust the size to, yeah, that'll be 360 megabytes. Yeah, so this is in centimeters. So in pixels, I like using pixels. That's huge. 5,190 is huge. The maximum width is like, you'll get away with 600, right? So now it's 119 KB. So great, right? So I'm going to press OK. I'll get to your question in a moment. Stop share. Now, because I saved that, I'm going to go back to my screen. Yep, I'm going to go back to my screen. Give me a second. Oops, not that one. Go back to my screen here. Okay. So I'm going to click on upload, browse for an image. This one here is now 83 KB. It's perfect. So because I'm uploading it, it automatically puts the source in there for HTML, for search engine optimization. I could put, for example, Toronto condos here to help with my SEO. If my website is heavily to push Toronto condos, I recommend you do this with your images. Don't use Toronto condos for every image, because obviously then Google's going to look at it differently than if you put the actual description of the condo. But now I press save, and guess what? My photo appears now on the top of that page. Now imagine how useful this will be if you have a whole gallery of images and then they link to different projects. I'm going to show you that in January. We're going to do a class on that just dedicated to this. Okay, so now I'm going to press save here. Actually, before I get to that, slug is what will appear on the URL when somebody is clicking on the link, or if somebody were typing it in. I mean, obviously they're not going to remember this, but johnderperez.remaxhallmarkrealty.ca or whatever, johnderperez.com/new condos and developments. That's the slug. For those of you advanced users, this is important for SEO, because if somebody types new condos and developments Toronto, you might want to add Toronto to your slug. Does that make sense? Again, for those of you who are just beginning with this, don't overcomplicate it, just leave it the way it is. For those of you who are SEO focused, add something that will make it SEO friendly. Meta tag description. For those of you, again, HTML, web designing background, SEO knowledge, description and keywords, while they do not have the full weight of SEO results, they do help. Like it helps vote that page up if you put the correct description. So for example, browse Toronto new homes and condo developments for sale. That is better than leaving it blank. So put on your sales cap, your real estate sales cap. If I were a buyer, what would I be interested in looking for? What would I be typing into Google to search? Toronto new homes and condo developments for sale. So describe what the page is. The meta tag description is a description of what that page is about that you will not see on the front end, but search engines see it on the back end. That's a quick SEO crash course right there. Meta tag keywords, condos, Toronto new condos, Toronto new houses.
How do you separate them?
By commas.
By commas
Yeah.
or space? Commas?
Comma separated. Now you're making me question what I. Okay, RSS property feed. Ignore that for now. Right? add to child sites, ignore that for now, just leave it the way it is, press save. Okay, now I hope that it actually updates my website properly here, okay? But again, if not, then we're having a caching issue or probably some other related issue. So, okay. But it did not update my website. I assure you, however, it is there.
Just delete the catch and rerun it.
Yeah.
This is the first time you're doing
No, we are.
No pizza for you.
Pizza. No, I have
So the
edited.
great thing is that you can all notice that we all go through these frustrations. So give the system time. It will.
Give it time.
You-
Well, if you
even
watch
though
the
it's supposed
recording,
to be
this is Thursday,
different.
if you watch the recording, you saw the pages that I had created. So it was made.
It does work.
It does work. I assure you, it does work. Sometimes these things will happen. It could be because all of us are eating into the internet here and it's not sending it out properly,
Maybe
I don't
the
know.
server is slow.
or the server is slow or whatever it is, right? Or it could be all of you guys are on this right now. And it's saying, hey, you know what? There's so much bandwidth being used up. Any of these things can happen. But as Jennifer said, things will happen. I wish we lived in a perfect world where you do something, it turns out and works out. You'll be ready to basically scream in frustration at this point. Rest assured, Marco's done it. He's pulled his hair out already. Rest assured, the custom page is there. Okay, just like the testimonials are there. You see that? It is there. In eventual time, it will update the website. I'm hoping by noon, okay? kvCORE, I'm giving you till noon. If you're listening, if anybody there's listening, I'm giving you by noon. Otherwise, we're gonna look for a different solution. I'm just kidding. So that's custom pages. Remember, I showed you how to create that as a main menu item. So now we're going back to website manager. We're gonna go back to edit settings. We're gonna go back to custom navigation, right? And remember, so many of you do not have a page yet. So now you do have a page, even just put testing 1, 2, 3, whatever. But now you can add that under your custom navigation, right? So select custom pages for navigation. What you're gonna see there is this new page here, right? You see how that appeared? That's only appearing. Can somebody mute? If you're not on mute, please mute. I can hear you cooking in the background. New condos and developments was the page I just created, right? As the header page. It now appears here. I can click on that. And now that is a custom page to use for navigation, right? Select categories for navigation, right? New condos and developments is a category for navigation. I press save. Now I can build additional pages underneath that, as many as I want. For the purpose of time, I'm going to show you one example, and hopefully later on it does show up. So for example, Web and IDX. We're going to get to Q&A soon. So for those of you itching to ask your question, it's coming. I'm only, how many minutes behind am I? I'm still within the 10 minutes. So great. We're doing great for time. So site content, custom pages, new condos and development is now that main menu item. And it also has content on there. So new page. What's the address of this new building going up right beside us? The one that's going to block my view. 699 Shepherd, right? That's right beside us. Select the category. Now that you've created the new category, it is now a category to choose as where the menu will appear. Click on that. And now I'm going to put this page is dedicated to the 699 condos right next to my office, which will be blocking my view. So Marco will be trading offices with me
Oh, yeah.
when that happens in 2 years. Okay. Now I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to type in 699 Shepherd because I want to make sure you follow proper copyright rules. I'm doing this only for example purposes. Make sure you have copyright. You call it. You have copyright permission. Oops. Doing this right? Not yet. No, we'll get to. All right. I'm having a bit of trouble with this. Save image. Okay, save image as. I have a feeling I'm going to mess this one up. I have a feeling I'm going to mess this one up, but we'll see. Again, this is live. Okay, there, perfect. It turned out as a JPEG. Okay, I pretty much ripped off a graphic from the internet. I downloaded. If you're doing this properly, download it from the builder website. Make sure there's no watermark by some condo selling team or brokerage, because you get in trouble if you use that. But anyway, now I'm going to put the image in again, just like I've shown you. And now you're pros at uploading images. You can click on upload, browse for the image, 699 Shepherd. Notice it's only 10 KB. Save. Voila, there we go. Now I go down. URL optional. I'm not going to go to this today. We're going to do this in our advanced classes. 699 Shepherd. I'm not happy with the slug. I want it to be SEO friendly. North, York. And you notice my use of hyphens. Hyphen here is the equivalent of a space. Do not put a space. Space does not work with the slug. It's hyphens or characters only, letter characters only, and numbers, letters and numbers. Condos, for sale, Toronto. See that? That's what I did with the slug. Description. Buy these. Awesome. You know what? I can't really think right now of nice things to write. So I'm just going to put buy these awesome condos right beside my Bayview Village office, and you'll be walking distance to the office. So you'll never miss a meeting again. Ever again. Okay. Keywords: Bayview Village, North York, condos, 699 Shepherd, Leslie Shepherd, condos for sale, etc. You get the point. You get the point. Save. They could find that by location. So again, you know what? I hope that the kvCORE gods let me do my demo properly. If it works, great. If not, we're going to have to review it during the pizza lunch. We're going to have to review it during the pizza lunch, okay? I assure you, you update websites, web pages on here, it will show up. It's not cooperating with me for some reason. We're going to have to re-explore this a bit later on when it does actually upload. Is that okay? Do you trust me that these pages will show up? I'm going to send, so Jennifer, literally, I'm going to send this to kvCORE and I'm going to say, like, you know, what the heck, kvCORE? Like, this is, we're trying to do so much training and this is what it looks like. How many of you have updated your websites though and have seen web pages show up? Raise your hand, show your hands. No, anybody? Okay, you got to have faith and believe that it's going to happen. It's 11:13. We're within 10 minutes of our Q&A, 10:55 to 11:05. So I'm going to allow Q&A up to 11:25 so that we're still within, sorry, 11:15, 11:25. So we're about what, 15, 20 minutes. Anyway, Q&A for anything I've covered so far. I'm going to go around this room. Once the clock is past your hand, you won't be able to ask anymore. We'll start all the way at the top. Jamie.
This is a side comment. So I've got jamie.dempster.ca. I've got this. Two websites now.
Subdomain. So by default, out of box, it's subdomain, which means Jamie Dempster .remax Hallmark, Jamie Dempster Group or Remax Realty, whatever.ca. Subdomain will always be there by default. That's the free. You don't have to pay for it. If you opted for a domain through kvCORE, which is $11 a month, you can replace that subdomain with your actual domain. It's $11 US a month, but that subdomain, for example, johnderperez.remaxhallmarkrealty.ca will become johnderperez.com, for example, right? So I have to pay $11. kvCORE will do that setup. I have to own the domain, of course, or I have to register the domain, and then it can be used on your entire website. So for those of you who are wondering, hey, this is pretty cheesy using a subdomain like this. This is the free kvCORE. You pay $11 US, which to me is cheap. Hosting is more expensive than $11 a month. You get your own Marco Mameni real estate, whatever.com. Yeah.
We own that.
Your domain you own. So my recommendation. Yeah.
I moved to Calgary.
Yeah.
And I joined a different program.
You own yours. So
No, if you are with Remax.
you own your domain. No, listen, no, you're mixing it up. If you register any domain.com, right, you own that. They can't touch it, right? They only point the settings to this server, right? The moment you say, hey, I don't want to use this anymore, I want to use another website, you take it, that's yours.
This website is strictly linked to Remax.
This is strictly Remax.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, next.
If we're part of a team brokerage.
Yes.
Are we limited with access to certain features? Because I couldn't edit anything. I couldn't even type anything in some of the pages.
Good question. So if you're part of a team, your team has its own website, which is like a brokerage website, and you have your own individual websites as well. I'll have to look at yours to see why you can't, because I'm pretty sure there is editing functionality capabilities. You should have full functionality, but I'm gonna have to look into that why.
Limited, like
Yeah.
even the transactions, I can't even add. a
Well, transaction, yeah, so there may be settings that we're gonna have to look at from the team perspective, so we'll have to look into that. Yep.
Part of the team.
Yep.
and full access.
Yeah, full access. So it depends on the team leader setting. So Ralph, you gotta get on it for that. Ralph's the answer. Yeah, yeah. Okay, next. Anybody here? No. Ozzy, you had a question earlier. It was about the contacts. I remember your question. It was about subscribing, unsubscribing contacts.
You said that if there's a button.
Yes.
That if you don't click on it, it will
Yeah.
send automatic messages.
Yes,
Can they,
unsubscribe.
Unsub.
Yes, they can unsubscribe. So your contacts have an unsubscribe because that's by Castle requirements. There is an unsubscribe link at the bottom of the emails. On the text messages too, it will say on the first one, if you don't want to receive any more messages, send stop. Right? And then that's okay. So that's a very good question. Yeah.
Automation, can you study at a later time?
Yes, so with automations, I'm gonna cover some automation later, so I'm gonna show you the answer to that. But if you're uploading, it's a good question. If you're uploading the CSV and you put automations as no, can you turn it on later? Yes, you can.
Individually.
Individually,
As
yes.
hashtag,
Or
yeah.
as a-
As a-
Or as a hashtag, I'll show you hashtags too. Yeah. And you can see, Yeah.
Yes.
exactly.
If you go into the client contact, you can actually see what the system is gonna send automatically, so I have something setting up for 21st. I just saw it. Like,
Okay, good.
So for individual or for the whole group, you can do that. Can you do X for the whole group?
Okay, we're gonna figure, yep. Okay, so awesome. So Aaron has my updated website. Let me see if I have my updated. Could be a laptop issue, guys, for me. Yeah, I'm having laptop issues. So here, watch. For those of you who don't believe that this stuff works, okay? Aaron's website, Aaron's view of my website has the new page already there. Okay, so it's working. Thank you, Aaron. Okay, so I don't know. It's my cache settings on my browser, okay? So it's my fault, not kvCORE's fault. Sorry, kvCORE. Yes, we're gonna go around like this, just for, yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, so in my case, my actual name and trade name, they're different.
Yes,
The website I have here is built up on my real name.
okay,
Just wanted to have it because I'm.
okay, so whatever your settings, yes.
Self-concerned.
Okay, so whatever your settings are is based on what you provided to Remax. So it's in Remax Center. You have to speak with Deidre. Deidre will coordinate with head office. So if you have a trade name, right? So do you want me to tell them your real name?
Sure.
Maziar Momeni
This is sexy.
is Marco Momeni. Maziar. Maziar Momeni is Marco Momeni, but Marco Momeni's website is correct because that's what he provided to Remax when he registered.
Correct.
So if you have a trade name, but you gave us your full legal name, it has to be swapped out, right? So, but at this point, yeah, you know what, you're gonna have to do it if that's what you want to do on yours, in terms of your URL. Okay, let's keep going this way. Anybody here? Yep.
So if you wanna change your picture on your website, you have to do it through the Remax profile.
Yes, so Max Center is where you change your photo. If you're having problems with that, because I know they're still changing some of those settings, send it to Deidre, send it to Sarah. You have Sarah's email, and they'll change it for you.
Okay.
It has to be done in Max Center.
Very
Yeah.
quickly.
Pictures, high resolution, whatever, it has to be done through Max Center. Another thing that has to be done through Max Center, believe it or not, is all of you have title of real estate agent. We can't change that unfortunately, because real estate agent is what we have on Max Center. I don't know if they're gonna put a fix to this, like for example, if you can choose real estate broker, or real estate sales representative. For now, it's gonna say real estate agent. To me, it's not a big deal. If it's a big deal for you, they are figuring out a change there. Anybody else here have questions? Yes.
Did you?
I'm still working on that. Jennifer is probably gonna comment on that later. She got her vow to work. Anybody else here? No? Okay, I'm gonna go to this side of the room, starting with Marco.
Okay, so question that I have, once you have the contacts that you have
Yes,
is categorized by whatever, like sellers, buyers,
Yeah.
past clients and whatnot, right?
yes.
Some of them are they'll repeat, like for example, a client that is
How can you measure?
Duplicate.
not duplicate. So I'm gonna download them different CSV file.
Okay,
And once you upload it, I'm gonna have two contacts now of the same person.
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to experiment the answer to
That's a
that.
very,
Like, we're gonna have to
because
figure it
if
out.
not, like, that's very important to get it.
I have a feeling, I could be wrong. I have a feeling the email records is what it keeps. So if they're separate emails.
Yeah.
It will probably be separate contacts.
Yep.
If they're the same email,
It should.
it will probably, like, not overwrite, but yeah.
Does they merge them?
No.
So one contact or you have few
but
contacts?
it's
Different email.
different emails.
No,
if it has
let's say
different-
If it's the same, it
you
will
have different
merge. yeah.
categories or different hashtags. How does it show on your system?
It may merge. We'll test it out, okay?
Yeah.
I'll test that out.
Jonathan, I have a question.
Okay,
Mike,
okay.
do we have the option to move to different stages?
What do you mean by that?
For example, if a buyer is a code.
Yes, you can change
Oh,
them, yeah,
okay.
exactly.
It would be resolved, right? So if you have. a
No,
buyer-
because you have.
No, it's a duplicate contact, it's a different question. Like if you have two different records,
Yes.
does it merge or does it overwrite? That's the good, yeah, we'll find that out.
So when they import it,
Yes.
it's buyer sellers things.
It's either, so by default, good question. By default, if you don't set a category, everybody will be a buyer. Okay, even your sphere, which makes sense. Think about it. If you have sphere, they're not buying or selling, you're automatically going to be categorized as a buyer. So there will be SOI and there will be buyer. I spend more time on this when we look at like individual settings and all this, but basically by default, everybody is a buyer. As long as you don't have automations on, you'll be fine. Like to me, that's something you can choose. Buyer, seller.
No, but
No, there's an actual field.
no, you want to do like past buyers, not buyer, seller, those things.
So
Custom-
I'm weary to do this because if I show you the CSV file, your personal data is involved in this. So I could show you, it's a whole sheet of
Okay.
Bayview Village contacts.
Share-
Are you guys
share-
comfortable with me sharing your
Share-
contacts? Is if even one person,
Buyer.
if even one,
Share few contacts.
okay, you know what? Okay,
Buyer is my client.
okay, good. You know what? Good point. I'm gonna share Steve's contact
Yes.
here. All right, let's go. Hey, guys, wait.
Copy of that.
Give me once. You guys are pushing it. You guys are pushing it, okay? Hold on, give me 1
He
second.
doesn't have any client.
Is that?
No, don't have it.
Did you bring the pizza? Where's the pizza?
He has many. That's what he was.
Okay, you know what? Okay, guys, okay. I can't show you this data. I can't show you this data. I'm sorry. However, okay, however. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna show you the one way to do it, okay? Watch. On the CSV, you can create the actual, you can choose a category, buyer, seller, whatever. You can choose, you know what, for, you know,
No, there is CSV anymore. It's already in there.
I know, but
Can you show
on
mine?
the,
I'm okay.
on the initial upload, watch, sorry, watch, okay, fine, well, you know what? Smart CRM, my contacts here. And we're gonna show Cameron here, okay?
Yeah.
You're gonna put all the notes, all the good and bad notes I have on you are on here, you know that? Okay, it's gonna load up. Okay, so watch. Cameron,
We're searching for it.
Cameron Abbasi. Okay, so this is how he appears here. There's certain categories such as client journey, right? So I can click on this and it'll change his client journey. Remember, I'm using this as a manager, not a real estate agent. So I'm using the CRM right now just to send you text messages for office meetings and all that sort of stuff. But, so watch. We'll spend a bit of time on this because it makes sense. So guys, listen. This is his contact information. Everybody take down his phone number. Okay?
His address.
This is his credit card information. Watch, sorry, not kidding. Hashtags. We're gonna touch upon this when I do smart campaigns in a moment. If you guys give me enough time to do that. But before I get to that, see buyer, seller, renter, vendor, agent. What category is he in? Agent, because he's an agent.
So he meant, can you add the category? That's what that was.
So
his
watch,
question.
yes, so watch, yeah. Now he's a buyer. Now he's a seller. So good luck to you, Cameron. You're gonna get every single message that's coming out of my system now. Now I've categorized them as everything. So yes, you can categorize somebody as buyer and seller, right? Just by clicking on and off, very easy to use. I can categorize somebody as just buyer, not on this categories, no.
That's what.
This is hard, yeah.
that what it was.
So you cannot add.
How can I do past client?
You can't. You can.
So I'll tell you where, I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you where you can do that, exactly. Hashtag, you notice that he's under Bayview Village Hallmarkers. So whenever I send out my mass text messaging, I couldn't possibly filter one by one everybody. How do I send a text message to everybody? I create a filter. I put Bayview Village Hallmarkers, and there's about 218 of you. So within seconds, I can create a text message and send it to all of you. You will see later when I talk about smart campaigns, how hashtags help, okay? Hashtags allow you, for example, 699 Shepherd. Let's say I create an ad campaign with 40 people that signed up just for that. Guys, pay attention to this. I created a new condo campaign and 40 people signed up. I could create a hashtag just for them so that if there's ever any promotional material that I want to send just for that project, I can pick that hashtag. It'll filter my contacts. Let's say I have 500. It'll filter just 40 to send it to, right? So for example, inventory sale, I can send a text message to the 40. Hey, there's inventory units available. Let me know if you want to buy some, right? For that specific project, right? You can hashtag as many categories as you want. You know, you can rate your clients however you want and
You have
hashtag
to
it.
do them each time manually.
You just type a hashtag, and once your hashtag is typed there, you can use it
Yeah.
for every other additional.
For any other client.
So for example, okay, Marco, give me a hashtag you want to put for camera. Hey, we're on recording here, okay? Nice guy.
Yeah, that's sometimes.
That hashtag is now associated with him. But if I add
Now you cut.
Marco and if I add PJ under, so watch, okay? So I'll show you. Okay, a super nice guy. Now you guys are pushing it.
The neat guy.
Pajman, because Pajman is how it shows up here. Actually, no, it's PJ. Yeah, see?
Original.
Pajman.
Hashman.
Okay, watch. Nice guy. You see how it pops up now on the autofill? You guys are having too much fun with this. You see how it pops up on the autofill? It's because I already created that. So now it shows up there. Now watch, okay? Watch this. Filters applied. So if I want to talk to just the nice guys here, okay? I go to, where do I go? Contact details, hashtags, nice guy. You see that?
Oh.
Filter. Apply filter. There's a lot of filtering and all that stuff. But now
Is this a case sensitive? If it's like uppercase.
the system knows that, I mean,
One nice.
the system knows that there's only one nice guy. I'll show you why, because I also searched them by name. Okay, so watch. Now there's two.
It's a smart
Okay,
system.
does that make sense? Guys, enough.
System knows.
We're gonna be behind. I'm gonna have to cut off one of these sections. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Next question. Next question.
Please,
Yes.
No more questions.
No more questions. Yes. Yes. So I'll show you. I'll show you. So some of you have opted out because one of the phone numbers I did was wrong. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm telling you. One of the numbers I put in here was wrong. So I was texting somebody about our office meeting and they said, hey, I'm not this person. Opt me out, blah, 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 whatever, right? So, oops, it's in dashboard. I'm going to share this here with you. Give me 1 second. On dashboard, by the way, whenever any of you answer the text message, okay, here it is. See, this is a former agent. Click stop. So I saw that. If it was an email, I would see opted out of the email. This is under dashboard, right? Sam, Mario said, hi. Jonder said, okay. Amit said, thank you. Shara, I am not Michael, so don't text me, right? These are the messages I'm getting in from the messages I sent you. So give it a try. If one of you want to send a reply to that text message that you sent. But if you press stop, I will see, for example, if I go to Mary, I will see that she's unsubscribed to the text messaging, right? See? Contact automatically, look at the screen. Contact automatically unsubscribed, received stop word from contact. So they will see that.
But if you download the CVS file from here,
Yeah.
that contact is still exists. It
The
doesn't.
contact will exist,
Doesn't wipe
right?
the contact?
That it won't wipe it out. I don't, but it will put probably that it's unsubscribed as a
If
status.
I may ask
Yeah.
a critic that I have about the
Yes.
system.
Yeah.
Is that you gotta really know what to assign to those prospects. Because if you don't, you're gonna bombard them with so many texts and messages that you're gonna maybe have your own actual clients unsubscribe from you.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
send them if you don't like, and that's the problem. that I-
Okay, next, we're going to Zoomers. Now. Yeah,
Just the testing.
Yeah.
Responding to your thing. It says your text. is very, very-
yeah, because this is your same number as you. So I'll talk to you about that.
Oh.
Yeah. So Zoomers, how do you use kvCORE as a team? Great question. So we're going to get into the team discussion, but as I mentioned earlier, essentially every team has their team's website and their individual website, guys. Shh, shh, shh. So it's the same. The usage is the same, but the team settings may be turned on and off depending on what your team leader is allowing you to do. But it's the same usage. Thanks, Jennifer. Actually, you've answered that. The agent as a contact as indicated. Okay. Under one of the headers. If you're using Rank My Agent, you have to do that manually. Testimonials are testimonials. Please click to update your browser. Yes, so that. Thank you so much, Reza. Reza, by the way, is a computer genius. That was one of the things Jennifer and I first talked about when he first joined. I see him chuckling there. So I wish I had read that, 30 minutes ago. Pages Catch, thank you. Your version is kvCORE platform only. No, we have the full version. We have core listing, core everything. We have the full platform. Google Chrome is browser. How about email? I'm unable to change it from remax.net. The email that's associated with your kvCORE is your remax.net. This is important to remember. Why? This is a fully integrated system within remax.net, within Max Center, within kvCORE. You cannot use anything other than remax.net. A second reason why is because your leads are also distributed through kvCORE. So when kvCORE was introduced, November 30th, Lead Street was obliterated. There's no more Lead Street. kvCORE is now handling all the leads coming in. It uses your remax.net. All of you have a remax.net email, unless you're brand new, you've just joined. Claudia, we're still waiting for yours, for example. Jeannie, we're still waiting for yours. Every agent that's affiliated with Remax Hallmark has a remax.net. Your remax.net is a forwarding email address. So it gets sent to whatever email address you specified when you registered. And you can change this in Max Center. So even though it says june.norton@remax.net, June might be forwarding it to her Gmail. If she's fancy, she can also send mail as if it was being sent through remax.net. This is the trick I taught you guys, Ben and Ben and Mark. So that's that. You got to use your remax.net. Does that mean remax.net will forward to my other email? Correct. It will forward to your other email. Who has access to my contact except me? Good question, Reza. I see the contacts, but listen carefully. I cannot see your individual contacts details. The reason why is because all of the leads are routed to the office. I have admin access. We cannot do anything with your contacts other than see. That's why I didn't show it to you on screen earlier. You just got to trust me on this, but it says private contact and it says who owns it. We cannot go into your contacts. The only contacts we can see are office and company generated leads, for good reason, obviously, because it's the brokerage that gets those contacts. If you receive an office lead that's not your own uploaded contacts, we are able to see that. Why do we want to see it? We will have a lot more advanced capabilities in the future where we're going to be generating a lot of leads for the office. We want to make sure whatever we're spending in money and resources is not going to waste. Any company generated lead we have access to. Your own personal leads, like Marco uploaded his leads, I'll never be able to see the individual information about that. We cannot download any of those leads. If he wants to take them away with him, he can take them away with him. We don't have any access to that. Uploaded contacts, exactly, Reza. Only you will see your uploaded contacts. We see it as private contact, and we cannot click on it. We cannot see any contact information. Anybody else have any questions on Zoom? Backup policy. Thank you so much. You're asking a lot of technical questions. We'll have to find out. I presume they're in the cloud. It's redundant. I think that with the thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of clients they have, if they screwed something up, it would be the end of them. So I'm pretty confident in terms of their backup capabilities. You should, however, maintain your own backups. Download your CSV every once in a while. Download your notes every once in a while. And I hope that answers your question. Anybody else out there?
Yeah, I made a comment earlier on chat here about your, if you're doing mass texts and mass emails.
Okay.
You have a spouse that's on the same line as your contact. They will, with a different email, they will not get that message. So you have to put their spouse down as a separate contact with their own.
So you have to, good point. So all of your contacts, there's a primary one, which will receive the email. Thanks for bringing that up, Todd. And there's going to be a second, if you want both husband and wife to be contacted, have them as separate records, right? I mean, your CSV list probably exports it like that to begin with. Okay, anybody else? kvCORE questions from Zoom, going once, going twice? No, let's move on. We are now 20 minutes behind, which is okay. I'm going to zoom through this part. Landing pages. How many of you love creating landing pages? Nobody does because it's hard. Yeah, one person does here. So kvCORE has a great landing page creation feature. Now I'm going to be bluntly honest because that's how I am. I'm bluntly honest and transparent with you. Am I? There's things I like about it. There's things I don't like about it. If you want to create nice looking, pretty landing pages that are sophisticated, that have full on set of design features and all that, this is not going to do it for you. Sorry. Go to Hudson at Hallmark Digital Studio. There's my commercial plug for Hallmark Digital Studio. Go to Instapage, go to MailChimp, go to any of those things. What you won't get, however, is integration right into kvCORE natively. So the bad thing I don't like about the landing page, I don't like the design. I'm not a fan of the designs. They're probably going to work on more advanced designs in the future. I'm not happy with them. I'm just being honest with you. What I'm happy about is number one, the simplicity of it. Number two, the integration of it. And number three, the capabilities of using it natively in kvCORE and what it means when somebody actually gives you a lead on these landing pages. Does that make sense? It's not the prettiest, but it works, right? So for example, I'm going to give you a broad overview of how can you use this. There are property evaluation landing pages. You can create a home seller's guide landing page. Imagine you have a postcard. Imagine you put that URL onto a QR code. You send that postcard to your farm area. Hey, you want to know how much your home is worth? You want to download a home seller's guide. They go to their phone. That QR code loads up your kvCORE website. They go to the kvCORE landing page specific to that QR code. They type in their name, email, phone number. Guess what happens next? They go right into your system. And you can create automations to start from that point on. So that's the good part about it. So if you can overlook the design, I mean, the design is okay. It's not the best. But if you can overlook aesthetics, you save a lot of time in terms of what you have to do after you get the lead. So for example, if you're using Instapage, if you're using lead pages, if you're using MailChimp, you still have to work on the integration between that and kvCORE. So for those of you very technical out there, like Tammy, you might you might sign up for something like Zapier. If you don't know what Zapier is, this is already over your pay grade, right? In terms of the technical aspect of this. Reza probably knows what Zapier is, right? Reza does. You can create automation, right? You can create automations from Instapage, lead page, MailChimp, whatever landing page you are, so that it adds to kvCORE. If you don't know that part, you're going to have to follow what I teach you, okay? So let's go. kvCORE, back to the platform. Close this contact. Go to lead engine, build landing page. Okay, lead engine, build landing page. Lead engine, build landing page. I'm gonna change your category from nice guy to lead engine landing page, build landing page. Okay. So watch, by default, your landing page is already done, technically speaking. And you just have to edit it, okay? So what you see on screen is a pre-made landing page, and you just have to modify it. Yes, some of you said, I don't like the Remax Hallmark Realty logo looking like that. Is it gonna stay like that? Yes, it's gonna stay there on that page. What I'm trying to do is get it to be transparent so that at least looks a lot better than this, okay? So I'm working on that, but it has to be there. Unfortunately, this is what I'm talking about. You can't drag and drop everything here. You can modify certain things here, but some things here are fixed, such as that logo, such as where the placement of the text is, right? So watch.
So that's
How
what it
many
is on the landing page. You can-
questions? Okay, okay, we'll get into that discussion later on. We're creating a home seller's guide landing page. Okay, home seller's guide landing page. Why? You want to send out a postcard in your farm area for a free home seller's guide. It's the Remax branded home seller's guide. Marco will use his own branded one, but watch how I'm going to edit this, okay? I opened the landing page. There's several options here. Today, I'm going to talk about lead generation specifically. That's the important part that you want to learn today. Lead generation, okay? Hashtag. If I want to put nice guy as a hashtag, I can do nice guy as a hashtag here, right? But here's what I'm going to do. Let's get serious now. Hashtag is used to categorize what these contacts are that fill out this landing page. So if I'm targeting home sellers in Bayview Village, my hashtag might be home sellers Bayview Village. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
One space, right?
No space. I think you can only put one in this. I don't know. I haven't tried multiple ones. Why do I want to do this? Because I may want to create a process where it automatically sends a specific campaign. I'm going to talk about smart campaigns next. It sends specific campaigns to just home sellers specifically in Bayview Village. Now, if I want to do a broad-based strategy, I might just put home sellers if I don't really care about the geographic area. Does that make sense? Hashtag is important here, even though it's optional, because later on down the road, if you're going to do this lead generation in mass, you want to be able to categorize your contacts. You're not doing this to dabble in it. I'm not teaching you guys how to just dabble in this. I'm teaching you how to use this at a professional level, right? One day you're going to be running 10 campaigns proficiently, and each of these campaigns will have different hashtags. Submit button text, right? That's down here. Remember, we're doing a home seller's guide, right? So I'm going to put something like this: download my home seller's guide. Do you see how instantaneously it updates the information there? Do you see it, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, do you see it? You see that? Download my home seller's guide. Okay. URL after login. Here's a trick. Okay. So for those of you who are using MailChimp, you know how complicated this can be, right? Because you have to put a process post submission of landing page and send them to a specific page or something like that. If your offer here is a landing page for a free home seller's guide, what do you want to happen after somebody clicks this button? Register. They register. Yeah, that's given. What else?
Can they go to a defined hashtag? Like,
No, they'll have that. But if I'm downloading a home seller's guide, okay, forget about, if I'm a home seller and I click this button, what do I want to happen next?
the home address. The home address.
I want to
Appointment.
receive the information.
Home address.
I want to receive the information. If I'm a home seller and I want to download a home seller's guide, I want to receive the information. So how many of you do not know how to use Google Drive or do not know how to use Dropbox? Or don't be embarrassed, please. Just tell me. Right? You don't know how to use it, right? What I recommend is, okay, how many of you know how to find the home seller's guide on Hallmark Hub? You guys all know how to do that, right? So watch, okay? Give me one second. My goodness. Oh, God. You're rating my, I'm going to create a new hashtag for you, Cameron. To create a whole new hashtag for you. We do have, okay, watch. Hallmark Hub, okay? Showing you guys everything today. I hope I remember my password. So in Hallmark Hub, which Hudson and his team fantastically designed, he's here on our training session today because he wants to learn this as well. On Hallmark Hub, I go to brokerage resources. I type in, so Hudson, don't embarrass me because you know where I'm going after this if this doesn't work out. Seller guide. There you go. Is that easy or what? Right? If this didn't work out, wow, I'd be embarrassed. But anyway, I can only say that because it's easy. So watch, you're creating a landing page campaign for home sellers in your area. This is something you can walk away with literally today and you can start doing this. I take the home selling guide. Okay. Now, the good thing is this is shareable. So I've just saved you part of the process here, right? Allow all cookies. So this is the non-branded, non-specific to you branded, like the Remax Hallmark branded guide, right? If you have your own guide with your own pretty or handsome face on it, you're going to have to learn how to upload that into Google Drive and know how to create a shared URL for that, because you need that shared URL for you to be able to do the next step. But for those of you who want to take the shortcut, you just want the leads, like Marco, he just wants the lead and he's going to give them this home seller's guide. I take this, copy. Actually, you know what? I'm going to reduce it down to this, right? Because I don't want it to go to that specific page. I copy this part of the URL. I go back to my landing page creator. URL after login. Paste it. Guess what happens now? The moment they've hit this button, guess what happens? They go to this file. So instant gratification. And then we say, wow, you know, Jenny's on top of things. I got this guide at 2 a.m. in the morning. Right? They're going to be impressed.
So do they get email or no? They just go to this?
No, it's sent them right away, right? Require phone. So this becomes a lead generation strategy issue. Do you require phone or not?
Yeah.
The answer is test it. A/B testing is one of your landing pages has a phone number, the other doesn't. See which one you'll get the more results. I'll make a bet that the one that doesn't have the phone number as a requirement will get more results. Why? They don't want you to call them, right? So in January, February onward, Jennifer and I, we're going to be teaching advanced lead generation strategies so that you create a full funnel. Because you guys are probably going to be asking, what's it of use to me if I only have their email address? Well, first of all, when you start dating, you don't ask somebody to fill in the blank right away. Do you? Or you do? Oh, okay, Cameron does. Because he's a nice guy. Okay, well, let's keep it PG-13. Just, you know, some people are at home here. Okay. When you start dating, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
When you start dating, you don't escalate things. You don't ask for marriage right away, do you? Right? Same thing. Same thing. That's a different discussion, guys. Okay, listen. Hey, who wants pizza? We only have 10 minutes left. So same thing here. What Jennifer and I are going to teach you, we're going to create a series called Max Lead Gen, named after Jennifer. What we're going to teach you is, even with an email address, you can create a discovery journey, like a journey of discovery that is meant to date the client so that when you're at the point where the client feels comfortable with you and you feel comfortable with the client, the call to action there will become book a meeting with me in person, book a coffee with me, right? So a lot of you are very instant gratification oriented. You want a listing right away. Somebody downloads this guide. You want the listing. It doesn't happen that way. Some of you were talking to me earlier that it took you a year, or Jessica was talking about that earlier, 2 years or a year or whatever to get a client. This is one step out of many. And the good thing about kvCORE is because of its automations. It's almost like set it and forget it, because once you categorize them as a proper seller here, it will start sending them text messages and emails and start texting you reminders to call them and all that sort of stuff. Okay, does that make sense? So let's modify this landing page. I'll get to questions momentarily. Download. Let's come up with a nice heading.
You're free.
What's a pain point? What is a pain point that sellers are having right now?
Zero commission.
No. We're not going to do zero price. I pay. Is that your competitive advantage?
That's.
You know, right?
Nice.
Make selling stress-free, right? Make selling easier and stress-free. Again, I'm going on to like brainstorm this, right? Download your free home seller's guide to find out how. Now, for the sake of time, you get the point that I'm modifying this, right?
Yes.
I'm not going to modify every single one of these points, but you should. Because if you don't, can you change the picture? Yes, you can. This is what the fields look like. Cell phone is optional. Can you change the background? Yes. You can choose from pre-uploaded ones. Just as easy as this, or you can upload your own. Okay, let's do happy. You want them to be happy about selling their home, right?
Cool.
So does this look okay?
Yeah.
So Marco's point earlier, it's not a landing page with the logo on. Yes, I mean, like as a marketer, the whole point of a landing page is to purely unbranded. Because of the way this is built, because of the requirements and all that, this is the reason why this is there. I'm going to find a good transparent logo so that at least it looks seamless. All right. Lead type, very important. What kind of lead is it? It's a seller. Why is this important? Once somebody puts their information on here, I want them categorized as a seller. I want them to be tagged as a home seller, right? I might even go further as tag them as home seller's guide. Why? The journey I create might want to be completely oriented to people who download this guide. Why? Because I might create a video series, right? After meeting with Jessica, after I book her coaching call, she might tell me, John Deere, you need 5 videos to take them through this home seller's guide, and they'll receive this in sequence after they've signed up for this. You guys want to learn stuff like that, right? That's going to be advanced. That's going to be January, February. First, let's start with the basics. Once I press save, I cannot modify this. You can create a new one, but you cannot modify existing ones. So now I press save. And that's what it's telling me. You will not be able to edit your page.
So you can add a spacer like for the home address.
This is a different, you can do a home address one. Yeah, you can do all sorts of different ones.
Can you add?
Not on this one. It's specific. So good question. Before I press save, if you want to do an address capture landing page, you do address capture. Each landing page is specific to the category. So address capture is a separate one.
So the
Okay.
form really, we cannot play much with.
You cannot play one. Okay, I'll go with the questions in a moment. Okay, press OK. And your landing page will be created just like that. For free, Cameron. This is free. Okay. You can create, you can delete it. You can delete it. So watch. This is the URL now. If I go back to my kvCORE, I go to lead engine, I go to all lead engine tools, and then landing pages. I can click on past landing pages. Sorry, guys, because I have past landing pages. I can see. You won't see that part because I see it as an admin, but I can see all of the past landing pages I've created. Does everybody see that? And now I can click on copy. Well, hold on for the questions. I can click on copy link. And now, again, I'm not teaching this today, but if you're creating a Facebook ad campaign, if you're creating an email blast or something like that, you can copy this link. And this is what your landing page looks like, right? So watch what happens. I did not at this point set automations to happen yet. I just created the landing page and I've categorized where they come into. The smart campaigns I'll do later on, but there is a way to fully automate this. But for now, I'm going to show you if somebody fills out this landing page, and let's say I put my phone number in there, and I press download my home seller's guide. I pray to the kvCORE gods that this works. Otherwise, it'll be embarrassing. But anyway, download my home seller's guide. Right?
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Right? Instant gratification. Home seller gets your home selling guide. If you did this under your own branded, like if you created your own branded guide, this would go to your Google Drive or to Issue or to Box or to Dropbox. Does that make sense? Now the home seller is happy. And guess what? I'm happy too. Why?
You gotta leave.
Because I got a lead, right? Now I've already used, well, I don't know if that'll be a bit more advanced. I've already used my email address, I realize, so it might just overwrite what it was before. I'll get to Marco's question because like it is pretty much part of the system, but basically it will show, right? So again, you guys are seeing this for transparency purposes. This is what I showed you earlier. Reza asked, do we see the contacts that you uploaded? The answer is no. You see this? We do see the activity that you do. Melissa uploaded something. Tammy, Nick uploaded something. I cannot click on your contacts, right? In case you didn't believe me earlier, I cannot see any contacts you create. It's private lead. The only contacts I'll see here are office generated leads. Okay, does that make sense? Because we only have 8 minutes left, I'm going to stretch a little bit of time, if that's okay with everybody. I want to show you smart campaigns, and then I'm going to go into the question and answer. Now, remember, today's session was not designed to make you a genius at kvCORE. I'm still learning it. I'm still learning it myself, okay? I wanted you to take a key takeaway from each of these topics. So pick one from contacts, pick another one from websites, pick another one from what you've just learned, and then pick another one from smart campaigns. Take one thing out of this whole thing and you're fine. We will be doing extensive training on this next year. I'm also going to show you before we wrap up today, where do you find the training sessions? Because there's a ton of live webinars and recordings that you guys are missing out on if you have no idea where to find it. You could literally, again, as I said, each of these topics I'm covering today, 4 of them, is an hour each if you do their webinar, but they will go into detail. I'm giving you the broad view of this. Okay, so smart campaigns and then Q&A and then pizza. Is that okay? Smart campaigns, and then I'll get to it. Webinars, okay. I'm going to show this twice.
Yeah.
Reason why is very important. So pay attention, everybody on Zoom, everybody here. Support and training. This is, oh shoot, that's not even on screen yet. Give me a second. On screen, support and training. Okay. Everybody here, keep this in mind. In this extensive menu, support and training. Support center will bring you to the support center where you can ask questions, message the support team, schedule calls, all that sort of stuff. Remax University, you all know what Remax University is. Webinar schedule. If I click on webinar schedule,
I can't find it.
It's just yours.
Oh, webinar schedule. Webinar
it
schedule.
is there. It is there, guys. It is there. It is there. I can see the training schedule for the next coming weeks. Okay. For the whole year. Great. You know what? And the whole year. Right? Okay. Learning portal will take you to video courses. where you can learn all of these things, right? Same thing. Support and training, support center, Remax Center, webinar, learning portal. Now, again, I'm hearing confusing this and that. Yes, it is confusing. It is overwhelming. This is a lot, guys. Okay, good. Wait. It is a lot to digest. That's why I'm saying take it step by step. The good news, again, if you don't want to do all of these things, kvCORE can do it for you. There are free and there are paid services. So you decide, is my $200, $500 an hour worth it to sit down and do this? Or do I pay somebody to do it for me? Do I pay kvCORE or my assistant or somebody else to do all this stuff for me? That's a decision you guys have to make. Okay? I don't expect all of you guys to be like super duper users of this like within today. I wanted to give you a broad understanding. And for some of you, that's too much, fine. For others, it's a good thing because you get to see a little bit of it and you say, you know what, I like this part of it. This is what I'm going to use with it, right? There's going to be more of these. It's not the only training session we're going to be doing. There's a lot of training sessions. But the reason I compiled all this, again, many of you are asking, how do I do A, B, C, and D? By the end of today's session, many of you will be able to know enough of this that you can do a full campaign. Majority of you, however, will know enough of this that you'll be able to use it at least at a basic level. How to upload your contacts, how to create automations for your existing contacts, okay? We're gonna do questions after smart campaigns. I budgeted about 20, 25 minutes, I think, for smart campaigns, but we're at about 4 minutes to go before my deadline, but I'm gonna extend by about 15 minutes if that's okay with you guys. Smart campaigns. What is a smart campaign? A smart campaign is literally, to me, the most essential feature of kvCORE. Why? It takes off the follow-up. It takes away the follow-up responsibility from you and puts it onto the system. Many of you, let's face it, you suck at follow-up, right? It's one of the worst things. Even though even the best of you who are great at follow-up will fail once in a while, right? I failed to follow up on a recruit once in a while, right? And the cost for that is what? It's huge. If you're using the kvCORE system properly, the automations and the smart campaigns will do most of the follow-up for you. And in fact, the smart campaigns can actually remind you to follow up. So if I met somebody at an open house and they're in the system as an open house lead, and they start a smart campaign, they're started on a smart campaign for open house leads, it will remind me to call, let's say 1 week after. It will send out an automatic email. It will send out an automatic text messaging. This is where many of you, this is one of the things that if there's one thing you want to take away out of this whole 2-hour session today, pay attention to this part. Because even with the basic setup, you can do smart campaigns. You don't need to do landing pages. You don't need to do your own website. But if you take this one thing away today, then this is worth it for you, okay? Whether you've uploaded 100, 1,000, or 0 contacts at this point, the moment you have one contact in your system and you are able to set up a smart campaign, you're already far ahead of every agent out there. Because majority of the agents out there don't have this system. Majority of the agents out there suck at follow-up too. Okay. Smart campaigns allow you to, once you've categorized a contact, start campaign automations based on what that contact is or who that contact is. I'm going to start with the pure rawest form. The rawest form is the most basic. Let's say you weren't paying any attention to the past 2 hours of me talking, right? Let's say you weren't paying any attention. This next 10 minutes alone will make this entire 2 hours worth it, Cameron. Okay. I'm not kidding, it will. Okay. Here's the scenario. I have no contacts in my system. I met Cameron at an open house. I put him into my system. Okay. Let's say I did all that. Okay. Which, by the way, I'm going to show you on screen now momentarily. Cameron, how many email addresses do you have?
1.
Oh, tell me the truth.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Okay.
The one you never open.
No, you never open. Okay. I'm going to start this from scratch. Okay. I'm going to start this from scratch. We're going to start it from scratch. Okay. I meet Cameron at an open house today. I'm doing an agent open house, but he happens to stumble in because he's walking his dog on the street. He walks in. So Cameron, A-B, he's going to kill me if I mess up his last name. A-B-B-A-S-I, right? There you go. Email. I'm going to use my test email. So JP, catest@johndeere.com. Give me a cell phone number, please.
416.
Yep.
77.
Uh-huh.
2216.
216. So at the open house, I asked him, hey, Cameron, what's your email address? What's your phone number? Okay. Permission to contact. This is partly Ozzy's question. This is part of all of your issues when it comes to Castle. Cameron, can I call you? Can I text you? Can I email you? Okay, I have his express consent. That's expressed. If I didn't ask him that, he gave me his email. He gave me his phone number. So you know what? Implied consent is, I'm going to call, text, and email him until he opts out. There's a difference. But anyway, for the sake of this example, this is just expressed or implied. I'm just putting yes. Street address. I'm not going to talk about this today, but in future sessions, did you know you can create market reports for every single one of your contacts? And if you put the street address there and some criteria, it will literally be sending them updates on listings and sales in their neighborhood. That's going to be January, February. Implied consent or express, he told me straight up that he wants me to contact them. If it's implied, kvCORE says that the consent date was today, but you're going to have to what's the word again? Redo it every 6 months. Okay, but he's expressed. What is he? He's a buyer, right? He wants to buy this house. Lead status, new lead. Okay, or I can put prospect or active lead. You categorize it the way you want. To me, it's just a new lead. I don't know if he's really serious. If he was serious, he'd be a prospect. He's just a new lead. Lead source, manual ad, right? That's by me. If I said, you know what, open house, I want to add him because he went to an open house, I'll put open house here instead. Okay. Lead owner, that's me, right? I have this extensive list because I admin the office one, but basically it's going to be me. If you're a team leader, you can choose to own that lead or you can give it to one of your team members. You can also choose to assign. Here's the takeaway that made this entire session worth it for you. Smart campaign. Okay, this is the takeaway. Pay attention. Some of you are having lunch already on Zoom. What campaign do I want to put Cameron on? I met him at an open house. Default buyer, sure, but I also have an open house campaign. I'll put him on the open house campaign. Can I add more than one campaign? I don't think so, but yeah, I don't think you can. But I'll put him on an open house because that would be crazy. If you had somebody on multiple campaigns, it's too much, right? If you're working with a lender, so we have Rami, we have Bilal, we can actually put our lenders into this system so that they're also copied on all the communication that these smart campaigns send out. So Rami and Bilal will be doing the same follow-ups as you, right? Hashtags, nice guy, right? Etc. You get it, right? I can put hashtags here. But anyway, once I'm done that, and I click on add contact, that made your entire 2 hours worth it. At this point on, and I'm going to show you what smart campaigns look like under the hood momentarily. From this point on, Cameron will be receiving whatever the smart campaign defines, whether it's emails, texts, reminders to me to call him, right? Now, smart campaigns, there are pre-built ones. There are office-built ones that we will share. You can also create your own. Here's where it gets crazy, okay? Where you guys, the advanced users, your eyes will light up. You could literally create your own smart campaign catered to what you want it to do. So I'm going to show you what some of these smart campaigns look like. But let's say, for example, you're doing pre-con. There is no built-in campaign for you. But let's say you have an aggressive strategy where you're sending out once a week for the next 5 weeks a video email that you've pre-recorded. You're sending out a condo investment guide, market reports, et cetera, text messages on every new launch. You can create a smart campaign for launch from scratch that will launch, and it will basically follow whatever you define it to be. You know what I mean? So if you're not happy with the open house one here, you could create your own. Your campaign might look like every single week an email, right? Every 2 weeks, a reminder for me to call them. Every 3 weeks, a text message. And you can do a whole combination of this. That's why some of our agents who set this up early, not realizing what automations could do, the smart campaigns could do, their clients were instantly bombarded with messages, right? So that could be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. Like if you have a sphere, you don't want them receiving open house follow-ups, right? Because there's no relevance to them, right? So that alone there, if you want to watch the recording again, please do so, but that's how you set him up. So in this example, again, I did the very, very basic. I had no contacts in my system. I added him manually, right? And I set him up on a smart campaign. That alone makes this system worthwhile, right? Now, some of you will ask, what phone number, Marco's favorite question, what phone number does the text messages come from? The office, Bayview Village, has its own unique smart number. All messages, if you do not upgrade to your own smart number, all messages come from this number.
Guys, don't use that.
The message that I give you on the text messaging where I remind you the office meeting came from the Bayview Village office number. Because my name is in that keyword, because my name is in a text message as a keyword, every time you reply, it knows to send a reply to me, right? So if you're worried, if I send it back, Marco's going to get my lead. He's not, because as long as your name is there, what the system will do, any reply, even if you're using the smart number of the office, which is free, will go to you. The downside is if your client happens to call that number and has no affiliation with the system, that the number is currently set so that it auto distributes in a rotational cycle to a random agent, right? That alone might be a reason for you to buy a smart number, which I think is 27 US a month. Yeah,
You
and
can
Marco
do
did,
your own phone
right? You
number?
cannot do your own number.
No.
It has to be built in. The reason why it's got to be integrated and built into the system. So again,
No, for the.
if you want, if you're using, guys, if you're using the office number, as long as you're using it through the system will send out a message with your name as a keyword. Any reply to that text thread will go to you. I've tried this. You guys try it. Reply to my email. Reply to my text message today. For those of you who got it. You didn't get, you're still not getting them?
No, I got it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't reply.
But if you don't reply and they want to text to that message, it's gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, so get your own, my
So
recommendation,
get your number
get your own
don't
smart
use
number, or don't use. Okay?
or don't do.
Or don't do.
So if you
Get your
don't
number,
get
don't-
Hey, guys.
smart numbers,
Hold on. Questions after, okay? Questions after. Okay, one more thing before we wrap up and we'll do a Q&A. Where do you see the actual campaigns? Marketing? Smart campaigns. You will see the entire library. Give me 1 second, pizza's here. Give me 2 minutes, guys, okay?
So the one that you.
1 second.
so basically,
Wait. Pizza's here.
Basically, don't use this song.
it's
just for reading.
shut down the text messaging.
Or buy a number.
Two options, keep it simple. Just your mass email.
It's your email.
For the year or-
Per month.
It's another phone.
Second.
That's just, you're $50.
It's a different number too.
Okay, 12:20. 12:20, guys, sorry. Hey, guys, questions at the end, okay? Smart campaigns are here. My campaigns, we create campaigns for you, or you can create your own campaigns. kvCORE library, these are the default ones, right? So within kvCORE alone, there's 29 different smart campaigns that you can use. Don't be overwhelmed. Pick one, pick two, or pick three that you want. I'm going to show you momentarily what you see. Templates. You can create your own templates for emails, text messages, etc., birthday messages, etc. So I'm going to reduce it down to just the simplest form so that you know how to use the system after you leave today. A smart campaign is essentially a collection of texts, emails, contacts, tasks, and all that sort of stuff. So for example, the open house one that Cameron is going to start to get. Open house. What does the open house one look like? It looks like this. So many of you might be overwhelmed. Like, what does that mean? All it means is that once Cameron is on my system, within 4 hours, he's going to get a text message from me. The text message will look like this. Hi, Cameron. John Deere here. It was a pleasure meeting you at the open house. Feel free to text me anytime if I can help in any way. If you meet 20 people at an open house, are you going to be able to do this one by one? No. The system's going to be able to do it for you. And the good news is, I'm not showing it at today's session. In the future session, I will. There's an app that you can download called the Open House app that integrates completely with your kvCORE. So if you're at the open house, you have your iPad and they sign in on that open house app, it automatically adds them as an open house lead onto your kvCORE and automatically initiates this campaign. So imagine 20, 30, 40 people go to your open house and they get text messages from you right after provided they provide the correct number. After one day, they get an email address. Sorry, they get an email from you, right? Day two, the system tells you. So the system's going to tell me, Jonder, call Cameron, right? See? It's going to say call and leave a voicemail. That's what, so questions afterwards, please. Day three, another email. Day seven, another email. Day 10, another follow-up call. The system tells me, follow up, call Cameron. And as Christina mentioned earlier, if you don't want to do any of these, you can just bump it off and just X, right?
How do you do that, for instance?
So it's going to show on the contacts once you start to see it, the smart campaigns. Yeah, on the upcoming activities. Now I'm going to bring you back to that contact. Email, text messages, phone calls, email, text messages. This goes on for 90 days. If after 120 days, they're still in your system, it will convert. See, you can even change the status from system to contact. Guys, hold on with the questions, please. Right? If you were following along, you would be on the same page as me. Watch the recording afterwards if you're not on here. Call, system to agent, status, change to sphere, etc., etc. This is a default open house campaign. All right. There are a ton of these campaigns. There's 29 of them in total, depending on what it is. Now I'm hearing the, what is it? Organize your mind in terms of how to use this. Are you expected to use every single one of these? Obviously not. Right? Start with one. If you're doing an open house in the spring market next year, start with the open house. If you're doing an open house this week, start with the open house one, right? When you meet with buyers, right? Start with the buyer campaign. If you're meeting with sellers, I don't expect you to build this like all of a sudden one by one. How many of you have seen a pre-construction condo go up in a day? It doesn't happen. It starts with planning. It starts with learning it, right? So the first things you've got to do is familiarize yourself on where to find it. You're going to have to watch the recording if you've missed out where I'm at. Basically, this is smart campaigns under marketing, right? Every single one of these campaigns, what you do with this, have a look and see what's in these campaigns so you at least know that if I put somebody on a buyer nurture 1 year campaign, right, I know what's going to be sent out. Don't just blindly put an automation and you have no idea what's going to happen, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, don't wing it. You may want to tweak certain things like this. For example, look at this. Every single week, this one is sending something out, right? For a year of follow-up, right? Which many of you don't follow up your buyer leads for a year, right? So that's what smart campaigns is. Again, I just wanted you to take the basics out of today's session, which is I put a contact in, I have a smart campaign that's already made. I choose that smart campaign. I put Cameron on that smart campaign. From this point on, he's going to get text messages and emails from me. All right. You can create your own campaigns. I'm not covering that today. That's going to be covered in an advanced class. You're basically the content of your campaigns can be anything from emails, text messages, calls. So reminders for you to call, a task. So for example, 3 months in, the task might be do a pop by, right? It's not a phone call. It's a task to do a pop by. So if you create that as part of that particular smart campaign, it's going to tell you on your kvCORE things to do. You need to drop by Ozzy's house. It's been 3 months. You know, go and check if they're still selling, right? Or webhooks. Like webhooks are very complex. These are more or less automated functions that can happen and they can communicate with other systems and all that. Forget about that webhooks. Email, text messaging, calls, and tasks within smart campaigns. Now, if I wanted to create my own, this is what we're going to finish off with. Just a brief overview of this. Some of you may want to play around with this right now. If I want to create my own campaign, add campaign, you can choose, like I see this, but you guys probably will not see this. I can choose whether the company gets it or a specific agent gets it. But basically, it'll ask me start when the campaign is new, transferred, hashtagged, or specific date occurs. I can create triggers, et cetera, and then I can design the campaign afterwards, right? The specific specific emails, specific categories, like if it's a buyer, seller, renter, or an agent. So for example, I meet an agent at a conference and I want to do a smart campaign where I follow up and call them every single month and ask for referrals. I can do that here on the system as well. Okay. Does anybody have, we're going to open it up to Q&A. Pizza's going to be here in 5 minutes. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, should we do this thing again?
No, this way.
I'll start this way because we did this way last time. Zoom, we haven't forgotten you Zoom as well. So we will get to your questions as well. This way, go.
So on this menu,
Yes,
I don't have learning portal.
you gotta scroll down. Your screen is small. It's a resolution.
No, it's not.
It is, it's the resolution. Oh, it is. It's the resolution. Get in your computer. If I can minimize the screen. It's your window, my friend.
You missed the previous class. How to use your laptop.
See, it's your window. It's cutting off. Your resolution is, but yeah, you gotta get a bigger screen.
You can also.
Or change your resolution. What is it? Yeah, command minus zoom. Sorry, yes.
Same issue.
Command minus zoom.
But if you look at it.
Yeah.
It's some things down here.
I'm gonna get Reza in to teach you guys this. Yeah, okay, we'll go to Marco and then we're gonna go around.
Okay, couple
Okay.
things, just to confirm, so
Yes.
these campaigns are not editable.
They are, well,
Yeah.
They're not.
okay, the default campaigns and the company campaigns we put there, you cannot edit those. Right? You can create
So,
your own campaigns. I believe, I don't know, Christina, maybe you know more about this than I do, but I think you can even clone. Yeah, exactly. Correct. So you can copy, if you like the kvCORE open house one, but you don't want to do certain things and you want to insert other things, you can clone it or you can copy it
and do the ones that you want.
Yeah. and then edit it. Yeah. And then you can edit and save.
Perfect,
Yeah.
good.
Good. Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, go.
Second thing is like, if you have your clients' birthdays,
Yes,
can you have a campaign of sending them the happy birthday?
can.
with it? How
you
do
can do a happy birthday text. You can do a happy birthday email. You caught me off guard. That wasn't one of the things I was going to teach. Does anybody know how to do it? Jennifer, do you know how to do that? Christina, do you know how to do it?
As a reminder. so
Okay,
So you call them.
okay. So you can set it. Well, no, it's a reminder to call them. So instead of a text,
I don't want to talk to you. Oh,
And third one was a request.
not a nice guy, not a nice guy.
And the last one. No,
That's true. That's true.
obviously, we're gonna all familiarize ourselves with the system.
Yes.
It's gonna take some time and
Yes.
hopefully we're gonna do this next year.
Yes.
But meanwhile, can I ask you guys to work on a campaign for the pre-construction?
Yeah.
So you
we
can
can do it.
load it up so we all have access.
We'll
to it?
work with Sogol to do a nice pre-construction calendar.
That would be
campaign.
very helpful, I think. for
Okay.
everybody.
Awesome, good.
Thank you.
Anybody here? All right. Yeah, well,
Another team question.
Yes.
Feature that we're just not unlocked, but we noticed that our phone number. I
Yes.
just do text messages a lot.
Yes.
Our number's exactly the same.
Okay.
And then I just tried to find my smart number.
Yeah.
And I typed in 416 instead of.
So when you do your own smart number, first of all, if you order it, start with 647 because 416 is pretty much, you can't even, there's no chance. Your team smart number is the same, yes, just like our office smart number is the same for all of you. Right? So when you're with a team, there's only one smart number affiliated with your team specifically. All of you are using it. Right? But when you send a message out, it'll have your name tagged somewhere in the message so that any client that responds back, it knows to send it to you instead of to somebody else on your team. Yeah. But if you want to create your own smart number for the reason that we talked about, then you create your own, but start with 647. There is no more 416.
Yeah, don't start with the 416.
Yeah,
You
it will-
just-
it
It's
will-
the
yeah.
first one.
Even if you
So-
put 647 as the alternate, it will still show as sold out. Yeah.
I searched on the five.
Yeah, 647, go with 647. Yep.
Question is like, basically, I'm not clear on this smart number. So the reason you're recommending to buy our own smart number
Yes.
is just when the client calling back,
Yeah.
it get reached back to you, right?
Also, because if you want to use this system where you put a phone number on a postcard, right? Two ways you can do this. One, you put the office phone number on that postcard,
Am I
but then you have,
comfortable?
but wait. You have to tell them, text Aaron to this number, and then you got to text, you know what I mean? If you put your own smart number on there, the lead will automatically go to you without a smart, like a keyword. So if you're doing a postcard campaign and you're using the smart office number, the smart number of the office, you have to include on that smart campaign text to Jenny Wu, for example. which is tedious, like a very like time consuming. Nobody will do that, right? So if you're doing a lot of text incoming campaigns, you should have your own smart number. If you use the office one, you have to tell them, text this keyword first to this number and then text me the address.
Actually, don't, I'm gonna take your leads.
Chill out. Anybody else have any questions here? No, Zoom, we'll go to Zoom questions. Zoom. Anybody have any questions on Zoom since? No? If I use MailChimp, can I create a form to load into kvCORE? I don't think so.
Export your content.
You can export your contacts or you can create an automation process. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Yeah, guys, we have questions here still. Okay, yeah.
How can I unclick that on here?
You have to go back into your contacts and you have to change the setting for receiving texts. Let me see if I can find it.
And then
Mhm.
no way of it is campaign that don't have.
Yeah, so unsubscribe from, okay, so I'm gonna show you on screen.
Yes.
Okay, so watch. You see here on screen? So this is Cameron. Unsubscribe from texts. That's in, sorry, good
You
point.
want an individual contact?
Individual contacts, more actions. Unsubscribe from texts.
Okay,
Yeah, good. And you can also unsubscribe from emails.
but
Yeah.
the campaigns can't be changed. If a text message, then. it's-
Well, good question. So Christine, I'm gonna have to lean on you on this. If they're unsubscribed from text, they will not receive the text messages from the campaigns. They know, yeah, because the system says no text. No, you can't, yeah. The campaign is a campaign, so remember,
But in the campaign, you can edit the campaign to not include any text as well. You just don't like,
Yes.
I personally don't like this texting thing, because I just want to use my number.
so it depends again, it depends on your approach. That's right. Good. Anybody else? Questions?
That was really about that.
Okay. Okay, good.
I had the same question.
Okay. Anybody else? Marco's question. Marco's question is, what's for lunch?
No.
Sushi. No?
Thank you, John.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your patience and
Follow-up boss. which
Yes.
is a lot of stuff.
yes.
So what's the advantage to kvCORE?
It's free.
You know, follow-
It's free.
Well, it's free, but $27 and then $11 for your own website and like.
Oh,
The answer-
website,
so-
you have your own website.
The ultimate answer to that question is use the CRM that's right for you. Okay, Follow-Up Boss does not, like, I like Follow-Up Boss. We use it as a leadership team for an internal CRM. We do still use it. Not because we don't like using kvCORE. I use both, right? Follow-Up Boss, for example, you gotta weigh the pros and cons. Follow-Up Boss does not have a website. Follow-Up Boss, yes, you have to pay for. Follow-Up Boss has certain automation. Follow-Up Boss, you cannot mass text, by the way. You cannot, I've tried it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you cannot do mass text. Everybody who's told me that, I say, find me the feature, because I would mass text in a moment. But that's because they're very, very compliant heavily on mass texting. They don't want to screw up, you know what I mean? Any part of that. So kvCORE has a website, has automations and all that. You just gotta wait. Some of you are using Remarketer, some of you are using Agent Locator, some of you are using, whatever else. My recommendation is give kvCORE a test drive and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's up to you guys. But what I recommended, because again, leads coming in through Remax are now coming into your kvCORE system. So you got to use it at least in one way or the other, right? If you want to take your kvCORE leads and send them to Follow-Up Boss, you can. If you want to sync them together, you can also do that through Zapier and through third-party plugins, right? So the ultimate answer to that is use the CRM and website that you're actually going to use. Because otherwise, it doesn't matter if you have the fanciest one if you don't use it.
If you want to pay the 11, just go to wherever you buy your domain and forward it to. So you just go into your kvCORE, copy that like jamedempster.com or whatever, and then put it into GoDaddy, and then it will forward it.
Yeah, you can do that as well.
And then you can like jamedempster.com and it will go to your site, so they'll see that.
Yeah.
like,
You'll still see the subdomain, but at least you've saved, but your marketing will be your domain. Yeah. But again, for me, $11 a month, you get your own domain. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Would you say the follow-up boss,
Okay.
Jamie, would you say the follow-up boss is easier than way easier, right? This is very,
Follow boss does have, and again, from our leadership perspective, it does have a nice, easy to use user interface and user experience. Right.
Steve Jobs and Apple stage, like, it's easy.
kvCORE is more like, yeah, like IBM. Yeah.
If I can use it and I love it.
Yeah.
then why
Use what you're going to use. That's the important thing. Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Pizza lunch, right? Thank you so much, everybody. This is our final meeting of the year, okay? Next Thursday, listen. Next Thursday, there's no office meeting, okay? This is our final one. January 5, first week we're back. Okay? Thanks so much. Enjoy the holidays. Have a fantastic one. Enjoy. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Awesome.
Jamie, you have a visual number.